Mexican Army Counteroffensive. El Tío Pollo arrested. Counteroffensive. In recent days, Mexican security forces have redoubled efforts to halt the CJNG advance in Mexico. The war on drugs is taking new turns in favor of Mexican security forces, as a Jalisco New Generation Cartel that seemed almost unstoppable has started to encounter issues in its relentless progress. The past few days have been critical for the authorities achieving significant blows against the cartel. If you've been following us for a while, you'll know that both the Army, Navy, and other security bodies belonging to the Aztec nation have scored hard and decisive hits against the criminal organization led by Mencho Cervantes, alias El Mencho. Mexican security forces have managed to apprehend elite hitmen from the CJNG and initiated the hunt for one of the most violent lieutenants of the cartel. This lieutenant went into hiding after claiming responsibility for the brutal and cowardly ambush suffered by Mexican army elements in the locality of Teocaltiche. We're talking about alias El Apa, about whom nothing has been known since the army launched its hunt, deploying armed elements from the 9th Infantry Battalion and helicopters to find any trace of El Apa. In a similar vein, the recent attack by Mexican Navy destroying a narco caravan or convoy belonging to the Jalisco New Generation Cartel in Sinaloa has exposed the intentions of this dangerous cartel to penetrate Sinaloa territory. This could have sparked a war between the Sinaloa cartel, the CJNG, and the armed forces in the state of Sinaloa. Fortunately, with precision, security forces managed to halt the CJNG's advance in the state for now. Today, another severe blow against the Jalisco New Generation Cartel shakes the pillars of the criminal organization as security forces have arrested alias El Tío Pollo, one of the plaza leaders of the CJNG in Jalisco. Stay with us to learn about this developing news and the evolution of the war on drugs. Before we dive in, let me remind you to subscribe to the channel if you are new, comment, and activate the notification bell. It really helps us a lot to continue bringing you investigative and up-to-the-minute content. Now, let's begin. Attention! In an incredible turn of events, security forces in Jalisco have achieved the capture of alias El Tío Pollo, who is an important plaza leader and key figure for the CJNG in Jalisco. Through continuous joint efforts of security forces in the state of Jalisco, the apprehension of an individual identified as alias El Tío Pollo was successfully carried out. He held a significant strategic and logistical position for the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or CJNG. This significant event marks a substantial blow against the brutal organization, adding to the continuous successes by security forces in recent weeks against the feared cartel. It highlights the ongoing and tireless efforts of authorities to put an end to the organized crime nightmare in the region. In a combined effort by the Mexican Navy, the Army, and the Federal Police, Mexican intelligence elements obtained crucial information about the location and activities of the criminal leader, allowing for a successful and masterful execution of the operation. This achievement once again emphasizes the vital importance of cooperation among various security agencies to effectively address the nefarious threats of organized crime. But then you might wonder, why does the capture of alias El Tío Pollo represent a significant achievement? You see, alias El Tío Pollo was known for being in charge of coordinating, controlling, and supervising the operation of the CJNG in a strategic and highly important area for the cartel in Jalisco. His arrest not only weakens the operational structure of the cartel in the region, but could also provide vital information about the network of connections and activities of the CJNG, not only in Jalisco, but also in other regions of the country. This important event adds to a series of actions undertaken by Mexican authorities collectively to weaken and neutralize criminal structures and apprehend key leaders of different cartels, especially the CJNG, considered one of the most violent and dangerous cartels in Mexico. Given its alarming expansion across the national territory, the CJNG has caught the attention of authorities as the primary enemy to stop. It is for this reason that federal security authorities initiated their crusade with a series of high-impact operations that not only seek to apprehend criminal leaders, but also dismantle the financial and logistical operations of the cartels. After all, if you take away one leader, they will eventually find another, take away the money flow, and they will begin to destroy themselves. This is why the arrest of alias El Tío Pollo is so crucial for authorities, as the information they could obtain from him would serve as a starting point for more operations that allow authorities to further weaken the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, not only in the region, but nationwide. Moreover, in the same line of thought, the capture of this plaza leader also represents a significant achievement for local security in Jalisco. The presence of the CJNG raises alarming concerns about violence and insecurity in the region due to the increase in homicides in the state. The arrest of alias El Tío Pollo not only brings relief to the population, but is also a crucial step forward in efforts to restore peace and tranquility in the affected communities. Despite not only this success, but also the recent achievements by the security forces of the Aztec nation, authorities are aware that they must not let their guard down and boast about these results. The fight against organized crime is a continuous and evolving challenge due to the cartel's ability to adapt to the strategies of security forces. Particularly, the CJNG has demonstrated an incredible adaptive capacity to the authorities' measures. After all, despite the pressure from the authorities, José Cervantes has managed to expand the cartel almost nationwide. The enormous resources belonging to the CJNG are also a factor to consider, as its financial machinery has proven to provide enough stability to the cartel to continue operating despite the continuous attacks against it. Even with the absence of its main financial arm composed of Los Queenies, the cartel has maintained its operations standing. After all, we're talking about a criminal organization that has its claws in various businesses, not only ghost, but also legitimate, allowing them to launder income without knowing exactly where these funds come from. Although recently, companies linked to the cartel were also discovered, it is not certain how many more are under José Cervantes' payroll, who also controls restaurants, hotels, and various assets. José Cervantes has consistently proven to be a very astute snake who does not plan to make the battle easy for the security forces. Since the financial capacity of the cartel is already alarming, the propaganda war waged by it represents an equally serious problem for Mexican society. A nation with 36.3% of the population in poverty, equivalent to 46.8 million Mexicans, is vulnerable to the psychological war maintained by the cartels seeking to promote narco culture, attracting young people to the ranks of the CJNG's narco army of hitmen. In this way, they aim to have a continuous supply of soldiers for their ranks. José Cervantes knows that social inequality, poverty, and lack of opportunities affecting a significant percentage of the population are a resource in itself that both he and other cartels use to their advantage. This is why social measures are equally as important as military responses. After all, the worst fear of a drug lord is an educated and opportune society, as a notebook and pencil in the hands of a child are one less weapon in the hands of the cartels. But we don't want to just stick with our opinion. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think would be the most effective measure to stop drug trafficking? Alright, that wraps up today's video. As always, grateful that you've joined us until the end of the video. Before we conclude, remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the notification bell. Every bit counts, and that greatly helps us to keep growing and bringing quality investigative content to you. With nothing more to say, until next video.